So who's going to be the next to jump on board Georgia's 2021 class? Starting to think it could be a 5-star. What's going on, guys? Matt DeBary, DawgPost.com, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down who could jump on board next. And let's start on offense. One of the guys that I feel good about Georgia landing right now, 4-star wide receiver Dion Cole, former Notre Dame commitment. If location is a factor, I've said this for weeks now, you've got to like Georgia's chances. He's a local kid out of Athens Academy, 6'4", 190 pounds, can do a lot for you. Georgia's only going to bring in a limited amount of receivers after bringing in 5 really good ones in 2020. So I'm thinking they can only bring in 2 guys, but I think Dion Cole right now could have one of those spots. Again, tall, athletic, he's got length, he's got ball skills, he can do a lot for you on the sidelines, one of the top wide receiver prospects in the country. Again, committed to Notre Dame early, backed off that pledge. I think he wants to stay close to home, and I think Athens could be the destination for him sooner than later. I don't think he's going to drag this out too much. I think he does want to jump on board, be committed going into a senior season. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on. 4-star wide receiver Dion Cole. Staying on offense, an offensive lineman to know is Fairchild, 4-star offensive guard, tackle out of West Forsyth, state heavyweight champion wrestler. He's a guy that Matt Luke is very high on, and I think that he's a guy, well actually he's told me recently that he wants to be committed before his senior season starts. So you've got to like Georgia's chances there. Auburn's a team he likes. LSU is another team he likes. They offered him the same night that Georgia did. I think he does want to take more visits. There are a lot of schools still in the mix, but if he does want to make a decision soon like he plans in the next couple of months, I do think Georgia is probably going to be the landing spot for him. He's a North Georgia kid, grew up watching the Bulldogs, and I know that offer meant a lot to him. Staying in touch with Matt Luke a good bit. I think this is the guy that Georgia leads for behind the scenes right now, and I definitely could think that he is an option to be the next guy to jump on board. Staying on the offensive line, Terrence Ferguson, 4-star guard, tackle, again out of Peach County, one of the top offensive line prospects in the country. He's a guy who I think could maybe drag it out a little bit longer than the other guys on this list, but I think if he does want to make a decision soon, you've got to like Georgia's chances. Peach County has been very good to the Bulldogs in recent years, and this is a guy who I've been told is high on Matt Luke's board. So we know the state of Georgia is loaded on the offensive line. Terrence Ferguson is one of the best. And I do think that at one point he wanted to be committed by his senior season, and he probably could, but he's a guy who I think is going to take his official visits anyway. Alabama's in the mix, LSU, Auburn, and a few others as well. But I think Georgia's sitting in a really good spot, and if he wants to commit soon, he could be the guy who jumps on board first. Let's go to the defense now. Chaz Chambliss, definitely a guy I know, 4-star inside linebacker out of Carrollton. Could play some outside, but I think he's that old school middle linebacker type. He's a guy who I think is getting tired of the recruiting process a little bit, wants to slow things down and make a decision sooner than later. So I think he'll be committed before his senior season. I think Georgia's the team out in front right now. They've been very high on Chambliss from the start. They've recruited him for a long time, and I think they're sitting in a really good spot for him right now. If he does want to make a decision soon, I'd be a little surprised if it wasn't Georgia. That's the team that he picks. But again, old school guy, he's thick. He's around 6'3", I think probably close to 240 pounds right now. A lot of muscle, tough, physical linebacker, maybe not your sideline to sideline type like Roquan Smith, but he's a guy who can fill those gaps in the middle. He's tough to block. He's just got a lot of strength, and he'll bring some nastiness to the defense wherever he goes. Right now, I do like Georgia's chances. And then the final guy on this list is probably the guy who's committing before the rest, and that is 5-star linebacker Smile Munden out of Paulding County. I went and visited with him in early March, right before the pandemic hit. And at that time, Oklahoma, I thought, was a dark horse team in the mix. He had a visit scheduled to Norman. He was really high on Oklahoma at the time. Now that I believe he wants to make a decision soon, I don't think the Sooners are in the mix. But Munden tweeted out recently that he wants to make a decision in June. I don't know when in June he wants to go forward, but it looks like he's coming close to a decision. And I think Georgia's in a really good spot. I think Tennessee might have a little bit of momentum right now, but at the end of the day, I do think if he were to make a decision anytime soon, and again, probably next month in June, that Georgia would be the pick. They're going to have to fight off the Vols, Auburn, LSU, and maybe a few others. I think that's probably the top group right now. But at the end of the day, I do think Georgia's probably sitting in the best spot for him. The staff has made him a top priority. They went and visited him twice in the evaluation period in January. Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann have been all over Smile Munden from the very beginning since they offered around this time last year. So he's a top target for the Bulldogs. He's being recruited by not only the Georgia staff, but by Brock Vandegrift, David Daniel, all those guys, Lavoisier Carroll. I mean, everyone on board already is trying to get Smile Munden on board. And with a decision coming next month, I definitely think he could be the next guy to join Georgia's 2021 class. That's all I've got. Make sure to stay tuned to this next video where Dean Legge brings his inside information on whether the Bulldogs are going to start playing next month. So make sure to watch that video. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you guys next time.